the final Ace Attorney. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Probably. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I don't know if this will actually be the final Great Ace Attorney stream, but it might be. It very well might be. So, I don't even have like an intro. My cat's not here to perform crimes. I think we gotta just get right into it. Oh, I'll say hi to chat first. Fluffle, oh whoa, hello. Don M. Theron, hello. Wandering Dreamer, hello. And to everybody lurking in the chat, hello. Welcome to what could be the final Ace Attorney. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. It's a final brain cell. No! I need those. I need those to do good attorneying. I need the cells in my brain to go chugga. Crime scene! Let's fucking go! So we saved right before these punks' testimonies. I get to not do Scottish accent again. I'm going to take a sip of my water and then we will start. Oh, hi, Molly. You are here. But you're not doing crimes. You're just laying on the bed and blinking slowly at me. Very cute. My cat's on the bed behind me. Like on the little creature bed by the front door in my office. And she's just kind of loafing on top of just a pile of blankets. And just going like... staring at me. It's very cute. Let's go! Also, I am definitely still holding on to my theory. I had like 48 hours to stew on it. I am still maintaining my theory that Captain Stopwatch is both the Reaper and the Professor. I think it makes sense. I think I'm having some galaxy brain shit. If I'm incorrect, well, we'll find out. Let's go! You're my ace, Idol, and I adore you. I just want you to know that before you to know. Oh my god, thank you! Thank you! Oh my god! Starting the stream off for the raid. Hi, Zenderkins and your 3 friends. Hello, welcome. Warning to the raiders. This may be the very final stream of Great Ace Attorney, so if you don't want spoilers, just be aware. Where is Ass Man? I don't know. Dead. Cats are allowed to do little crimes. No! Don't encourage her. No. Okay. It's time for me to do my bad Scottish accent. I procrastinated long enough! It was the day that Japanese jock was found guilty. We've already read the testimony. Okay. Raiden Duck, with all due respect. No, totally get it. Totally get it. Play this game on your own, then come back and watch the VODs later. Okay, wait. I'm actually gonna read through this testimony again just because we did it last time and I forgot. It was the day that Japanese jock was found guilty. The directive came from the prosecutor's office. I assigned the convict to the chief ward of vigil here and put the plan into action behind the scenes. I was responsible for Asogi right up until the night of his execution, but I knew nothing of any plot. I didn't ken if there was some negotiations between the convict and the prosecutor's office. All I did was carry out my duty for Her Majesty's Great British Empire. Okay, so that's the testimony.
Hold it!
Okay. We need more info. So, Mr. Vigil, you didn't know anything about it at all? That's right. My only role in the scheme was as a scapegoat. That's right, isn't it, Governor? Some poor beggar had to take the rap for it. That's a dick fucking move. Alright then, who else did know about the plan? I've no the first idea, laddie. My part in the whole business was basically just dealing with the aftermath. But I wouldn't be surprised if there were other folk in the prison service who'd been given similar orders. Yeah, I know. Someone had to take the rap. You could have taken the rap for it, governor! You son of a bitch! So you don't know who else was involved? Aye, that's right. All I can tell you is that the night it actually happened, the person at the reins was Dr. Stevens. That's Dr. Scythe. Dr. Courtney Stevens? Or Dr. Scythe, as she's known now. Why did I have to get caught up in such a terrible business? Did you not notice anything unusual happening in the lead up to that night? No, everything was unusual. Exception after exception. After all, it was the professor, the man who terrorized the country as never before with his crimes. In order to hide his identity, he was forced to wear an iron mask over his head. Hideous treatment. The fellow was surprisingly docile for someone who'd taken the lives of 5 of the country's nobles. Being the chief warder, I was the only person permitted to approach his cell. I can still hardly believe that I was duped by my own country. I believe you jumped from the window of the governor's office when the jailbreak was blamed on you, didn't you? Yeah, that was your fault too, you son of a bitch. Losh, Vigil, I cannot apologize enough. No, Governor, I don't believe you can. It won't change won't change what's happened. Yeah, get him! And what else can you tell us about the situation, Governor Caden?
Hold it!
But you've already acknowledged that orders came from the prosecutor's office to arrange for the man's escape. There must have been some sort of negotiation. It's the only explanation. Well, be that as it may, I didn't ken anything about that. The witness stand is no place for telling what you don't know for sure. I can that much, I do. Then I presume you also know this. Not telling what you do know is a criminal offense. So you were just following orders, is that it? I'm afraid that won't absolve you of guilt here. A man was still killed illegally, even if he was a condemned criminal. You may very well be found complicit in murder, Governor. So that's what it's to be, is it? Even with the threat of conviction, you won't break your silence.
Hold it!
Carry out my duty. Did you carry out the plan in its entirety? Aye, I did everything I could at the time. As you know, Genshin Isogi was shot dead in Lowgate Cemetery after the escape. Tell me, was that part of the plan too? My instructions were to do with getting the joke out of the jail and nothing more. I cannot tell you anything about what happened after that. Only, personally, I believe his death was the last part of the plan. A whoa? Governor's a sussy bug. Mr. Vigil, something wrong? I'm in the spin cycle. Yeah, yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? He's saluting now? What is it? Some sort of Barclay convention? Hello and welcome to Barclay Con, where we've got all your bars and your clays. Welcome to Barclay Con. Oi. Barclay Con 2022! What Governor Caden was just saying seemed to upset you. Did it bring something to mind, perhaps? For the last 10 years, I've completely blotted out the memories of that time from my mind. I was betrayed by my superiors in the name of my country. It fucking sucked. Just as my father was betrayed, it seems. But you see, thinking back now, I really can't imagine that the shooting of Mr. Soki in the cemetery was ever part of the plan. What makes you think that? Well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? No, it really doesn't. Why would they plot this whole big prison escape and then shoot the guy? That doesn't make any fucking sense. To make the man admit to crimes he didn't commit with the promise of a jailbreak only to kill him in the end. That's treachery of the worst kind. But the point is, if the intention was always to betray him, why would there be any need for all the chicaneries of an escape? My thoughts exactly. Yeah. Hang on, do something real quick. Yes, that's quite true. If whoever negotiated with the Sogi never intended to keep his or her end of the bargain, it would have been far simpler just to let the man be executed in prison as dictated by his sentence. It all happened in that vast chamber of secrets that is Barclay behind the prison walls. I suppose nobody knows what really went on in the execution room now. Yes, it's an unsettling mystery, certainly. Sus. Truth be told, there is a wee matter that's never quite made sense to me. Ugh. If you believe there was some kind of negotiation behind the jailbreak between Asogi and the body at the top, it doesn't quite add up, does it? Governor Caden, I must insist that you explain these doubts that you have. By amending your formal testimony. Kids! Oh, go on then. Yeah! Glare, you son of a bitch! Glare! It will not save you! Seems to me that the Japanese fella didn't have nothing to bargain with.
Hold it!
Admitting to the crimes, that's what we had to bargain with. That was what he had to bargain with, surely. Oh, I cannot see that myself. After all, did the prosecution not have conclusive evidence against the Kali now? This, you mean? Discovered during the final victim's autopsy. There's every possibility this conclusive evidence was fabricated by Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Objection!
Possibilities are all very well, but nothing has been proven. You can holler about the misconduct in the trial 10 years ago all you like. But if you can't establish that it happened with hard evidence, no one's going to listen. Aye, that's right. So what I'm saying is... Convict had nothing. Had nothing he could use for any kind of bargaining at all. The witness makes an astute point. Logically, it would seem no negotiation could have taken place. And yet the plan to break the man out of prison was definitely put into practice. So he must have been armed with something that gave him an angle to negotiate. Upon my death, any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son, Kazuma Asogi, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. He called this his final weapon, so I feel like this has something to do with it. But I don't really see how it connects yet. So Asogi-san agreed to confess to the crimes because he was sure he'd be broken out of prison later. I really don't think that Kazuma-sama's father would have engaged in such negotiations. Then perhaps something compelled him to agree? Terrible thing. Using the law to legitimize such underhanded dealings with a desperate man. Only to double-cross him in the end. It's quite the opposite of justice. I can't help feeling. There's something about this apparent negotiation that doesn't quite add up. Something doesn't quite add up, Mr. Naruhodo? No, it doesn't. But I can't quite put my finger on what yet. Well, in that case, we must keep digging until we identify the problem. Okay, so this is the only one that I haven't pressed yet. And you say you don't know who actually issued the directive? Aye, that's right. All I can be sure of is that it was one of the official. But if it was from the prosecutor's office, that narrows it down who could have issued it straight away. And it wasn't me. Well, I cannot say even with certainty if it did originate from the prosecutor's office. What? There's no telling where it all started. There's a fair chance it came from high up the ladder. Basically. I cannot give you any indication of who was behind it. You can't be serious. All we can say for sure is that the order must have come from somebody in authority, I suppose. The likes of us on the ground, as it were, didn't bother with idle speculation. We just get the job done. Did I already press this one? Yeah, we already pressed this one. Fast forwarding. Didn't have nothing to bargain with. I'm gonna save. It's like, I don't entirely see the connection yet, but I feel like There has to be something for this. Okay, so what do we have that's related? Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. So he should know? Maybe, is that the implication here? That could be it. Okay, I already saved, I'm gonna try this. I don't know if it's right, but I'm gonna try it. Nope. I will go until I figure it out and then I will reset, it's fine. Be the will, but I don't really see how it connects. I'm gonna try it.
Objection.
I guess that was right. Okay, I'm already low on. I don't see the full connection yet, but I'm sure my boy Ryunosuke will let me know. I just feel like this has to be it somewhere. And I mean, I guess I am right, so you know. Confessing under oath to murders he didn't commit on a verbal assurance of later being broken out of prison. Genshin Asogi was taking an incredibly risky gamble. Very true. There was nothing to stop the British breaking their word and executing him behind closed doors anyway. Under normal circumstances, no man would stake his life on a gentleman's agreement like that. Which means that Mr. Sogi must have had a trump card. Something that guaranteed he wouldn't be betrayed. Some kind of weapon. Heavens, the fella couldn't have possibly have anything like that. But you know he did, Governor. The Asogi Papers, the name given to the last will and testament of Genshin Asogi. It turns out that Mr. Asogi was hiding his will in his cell at Barclay. Chief Warder Vigil caught him with it one day. You squealed, did you re-rat? Did I not tell you to keep that a secret? You can't touch me now! When Mr. Vigil caught sight of that will through the bars of the convict's cell, Mr. Asogi pleaded with the warder. All right then, but what's on that paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. A weapon. And after the convict had been killed following the elaborate pretense of the jailbreak, that document mysteriously disappeared, didn't it? Well, yes. All the prison warders searched through the belongings in his cell, but that will was just nowhere to be found. As I understand it, an exhaustive search was made for the document, which became known as the Asogi Papers. Governor Caden, I believe you ordered your prison staff to find it at all costs, didn't you? Would I be right in saying that you knew? You knew that the so-called Asogi Papers had the potential to make great waves somehow. Jinx, what the blazes are you blathering about? The will was found, right and proper, in the fella's cell where I said it should be. But how can that be? Where in his cell? We all searched the place from top to bottom. Well, you did not do a proper job, eh, you peely-wally galoot? You can't criticize me now. I showed it to you full, did I not, yon lawyer? Yes, you did. I have the document here. It's written in Japanese and reads, The Last Will and Testament of Genshin Isogi. Which means everything is as it should be. Not quite, my lord. You see, there's an undeniable inconsistency here. What? What inconsistency? Mr. Isogi described this document as the only weapon he had left. And yet, this will contains nothing of significance at all. And nothing that would have given the convict any leverage. Are you suggesting, my learned friend, that the last will and testament stored at Barclay Prison all these years is actually a fake? I guess that would make sense, yeah, because I've always thought, like, it's very bare bones. As has clearly been demonstrated already, what went on at Barclay Prison was far from above board. That last vilification by the defense was an affront to the entire British legal system. This absurd notion of a weapon is something for which we have only former Chief Warder's word. The man could quite easily be lying, or at the very least sorely mistaken. What? No! I definitely heard him say that, I swear! Clearly we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to know exactly what happened with these so-called Isogi papers. A waste of time! If the will was fake, where's the real document? Mr. Vigil was stabbed in the back by the judiciary 10 years ago. He lost everything, very nearly his own life. And now you're going to do it again. You're ready to brand him a liar and turn your back on him without even letting him defend himself. It's clear that Barclay Prison is hiding something. It's clear that the jailbreak was masterminded by somebody in the prosecutor's office. It's clear that some illicit negotiations took place. Is your lordship going to gloss over these obvious facts? What did you say? Yeah, get him! We should hear more. Have him testify again. This trial must go on. The man's voice must be heard. It would seem that a vocal few here are utterly blind to the truth. Very well, then. Let the witness testify again. Tell the court precisely what you think you saw of the convict's last will and testament. Yes, sir, my lord. As the warder responsible for condemned convicts, I attended to Mr. Isogi and kept watch over his cell. The night after he was found guilty in court, he was doing something with that will in his cell. He made it into a paper airplane. It was really weird. We turned the cell inside out looking for it after the execution, but to no avail. I only found out about the Isogi papers when a directive came telling me to impound them. The document was in the folds of the fellow's robe that was left in his cell. A kimono, I think it's called. It is kimono? That's a lie! We searched every inch of the man's cell. We looked through all his clothes. It can't be true. Were you not satisfied with calling me a liar once, eh, you wee waffinger? Sounds like waffle. Ha! There's nothing you can do about it now. You don't have any hold over me anymore. Other than the hold you like to take on my cravat, of course. Is that what you're going to do, is it? This is a weird look. Go on, you know you want to shake me. Are you going to give me a good shake again, or are you too scared? Ah! A little and large. What a double act. We complied with Isogi's will as far as was possible. All of his personal effects were delivered to his family home in Japan. As a courtesy to the homeland of the most notorious killer our country has ever seen. And we were much obliged. I can confirm that all of my father's belongings arrived safely. Oi, and you cannot deny the handwriting is of your old man, eh? Yes, there's no mistaking that it's my father's brushwork. Really? And this last will and testament was the man's weapon, was it? I bet there's like a page missing or something. I think we can safely assume that the convict was merely prattling, knowing that his end was nigh. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Let's fucking go and get a drink.
Hold it!
And he pleaded with you not to report him, didn't he? Yes, that's right. And like the Banpat Yah, you didn't tell me. A blatant breach of trust that was. I could see that the man had a noble spirit. I found myself wanting to treat him accordingly. But according to what you told us 2 days ago, the convict had been strictly forbidden from having any writing materials whatsoever. Yes, you're quite right. So when exactly was the will penned? That was before the man was remanded in Barclay, obviously. Yes, at the prosecutor's office under the supervision of the relevant authorities. I personally instructed Asogi to make a will for the benefit of his family and his homeland. In that case, why was it found in his cell? What do you mean by that? Well, if it was penned at the prosecutor's office, you would have expected that it would remain there for safekeeping, surely. It's curious, but there doesn't seem to be any obvious explanation for why it was subsequently found in the convict's cell. Well, the defense makes an astute point. Well, Governor? Prison governor cannot be expected to ken the inner workings of the prosecutor's office. In that case, Lord Strongheart, perhaps you can shed some light on the matter. I'm unable to offer an explanation here and now. Sure you're not. Sure, Jan. I would have to consult the notary responsible of the will at the time. The fact that my father's will was discovered in his cell is clearly inconsistent with what was expected. I want to know why. Another inexplicable mystery, then. Well, the thing about that will...
Hold it!
It was the governor who ordered the search for the will, as I understand it. Is that right? Yes, and when I reported back that we couldn't find it, he grabbed me up by the cravat and yelled, "I cannot have disappeared completely," in my face. Well, it's down to the governor to keep everybody working as hard as they should. I think the governor needs a wee taste of his own medicine, Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. The point is, it was clearly considered a very important document, wasn't it? But it proved impossible to find. That's right. Then before I knew it, it was in the morning paper. That blood-curdling article. The executed mass murderer who'd risen from the dead. Oh, you mean... the article based on Mr. Drebber's experience in Lowgate Cemetery? Yes, that was it. The day after I'd read the news, I was summoned to the governor's office. And that's when the awful accusation was made. That you'd aided Genshin Asogi to escape from the prison, resulting in your immediate dismissal. I'm afraid I really don't remember anything after that. As the governor of the prison, I had no choice. I couldn't have done anything else. Yeah, you could have.
Hold it!
And that directive came from the same source as the one instructing you about the jailbreak? Aye, from the top levels of the prosecutor's office. What name was on it? I didn't ken afore, and I didn't ken now. All I can tell you is that my orders were to do everything in my power to find that document. The directive said it had to be somewhere inside the fella's cell. A document? Was that the wording? Document, not will? Aye, that's what it said. Am I clutching at straws here? I just wonder if it was really Genshin Asogi's last will and testament and the sender of that directive was after. Continue with your testimony then, witness.
it!
In Mr. Asogi's kimono? Oh, that's the one he brought with him when he was locked up. Yes, he was permitted to have his personal effects with him during his incarceration, I understand. That's right, he was granted as much freedom as possible during the few days before his execution. Indeed, he had a number of items of personal significance, I remember. He was very reluctant to part with them. Some books, that kimono, his sword. His sword? Kaduma, the famous sword of the Asogi clan. It bears the soul of my family. I don't doubt it, but I wasn't really getting at that. Forget it being the soul of the clan, could the man have had a more obvious weapon? Have some respect, Ryunosuke. Respectful silence? The warders carry firearms at all time and the inmates have shackles around their ankles. He couldn't have hurt anybody with that thing. Still, he was allowed a sword, but no writing materials? Aye. He wrote that will before he came to stay with us at Barclay, you see. Dr. Mikotoba was asked to bring the necessary Japanese writing implements to the prosecutor's office. A Suzuri inkstone, black sumi ink, and some Hanshi rice paper, no doubt. I was present when he wrote it. But I'm sorry to say, the letters just look like squirming massive jet black earthworms to me.
Excuse me!
Are you feeling faint, Mr. Vigil? You're in a spin cycle again. Mr. Vigil! Sir! It was Scarlet, sir! What? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to blurt it out like that. Less swaying and more explaining would be helpful. Is it something about the testimony we just heard? Have you recalled something of importance? Something of importance? Possibly. Or possibly not. I'm unable to tell which way he's leaning, I'm afraid. He keeps wiggling. My lord, the defense asks that Mr. Vigil be permitted to supplement his testimony with this possibly or possibly not important detail. Permission granted. Go ahead, Mr. Vigil. Yes, it was Scarlet. As I remember it, the document was written in Scarlet Ink, but perhaps I'm mistaken. There was a thing about, Scarlet Ink in Clint's autopsy report. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document and corresponding ink was found. Scarlet, you say? Well, yes. I mean, I only caught sight of it for a brief moment, of course. But even by the dim light in the cell, I remember thinking that it was an unusual color. At the very least, I'm quite sure it wasn't black. Witness, is that really what you saw? Well, sir! Is something wrong, Lord Strongheart? Bitch. I apologize. Continue. What do you make of that, Mr. Naruhodo? For Lord Strongheart to be so visibly shaken in that way. Well, didn't I have a... You can plainly see the writing here. It's as black as the Earl's a hell waistcoat. Well, yes, you're right. Mr. Vigil, I'd like to confirm one point with you. Did you actually see the content of the document that Mr. Asogi was holding that night? Oh, well, no. I mean, there was no time. As soon as he noticed me there, he hid it behind his back. But it was definitely a will, was it? Yes, it was. That's what Mr. Asogi told me. The court need waste no further time on this matter. We have the will in question in our possession. There's nothing more to add. A will written in scarlet ink. What did Mr. Vigil really see in Kazuma's father holding, I wonder? If you have an inkling, Mr. Naruhodo, you must present it to the court at once. Yeah, I know. It's his fucking autopsy report and mentioned that. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Boom, 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 boom.
Objection!
Bam! I'm so confident I don't even save first. Boo, bam! Scarlet-colored writing is what you said you thought you saw, Mr. Vigil. And I believe that's exactly what you did see. What? Have us again! You've no evidence to say that! Have a look at this report. That's my brother's autopsy report. Yes, and there's something in here that's bothered me since I first read it. It states that scarlet-colored ink stains were noted on the fingers of the victim's right hand. Yes, so it does. Scarlet ink? Now, I'm not familiar with the habits of the British aristocracy, I freely admit. But I would hazard a guess they don't go all around with ink stains on their fingertips, do they? Your wit is not appreciated. My brother was a well-bred and fastidious man. Should the ink have sullied his fingertips, he would have cleaned them immediately. What is your point, Counsel? My point is this. Whatever Lord Clint Van Zieks was writing in that unusually colored ink, it must have been directly before his death. Because he died before he had the opportunity to clean his hand. What? I remember something troubled me at the time. At the scene, the lid of my brother's inkwell was open. But Clint was punctilious about such thing. It seemed unusual. And no document penned in the color of the ink that was in the inkwell was ever found. So the document had disappeared. Are you suggesting that the document my father had in his hand that night in his cell was the same document that Lord Clint Van Zieks was writing moments before his death? Then it was... If Mr. Vigil's testimony is to be believed, it can only mean that, yes. Mr. Vigil! Sir! When you spotted Mr. Asogi with the document in his cell, his precise words were as follows, were they not? All right then, but what's on that paper? A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now. Yeah, a last will and testament. If the conversation really did go as Mr. Vigil says, then what we now know completely changes the meaning of what Mr. Asogi said. You really think... Mr. Vigil did indeed see the convict with a will. But it wasn't that of Genshin Asogi. It was the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks. Oh, shit! No. What? Hot scared, don't you?
Objection!
This is madness. My brother's last will and testament. And that would mean that he had chosen to die. That is what it would mean, yes. No, impossible. That is utterly out of the question. Lord Van Zieks. Clint was pursuing the professor. It's consumed him day and night. Whatever happened, he would never have abandoned his investigation before its conclusion. Never! He wouldn't rest until the job was done, until the killer was caught. The idea that he would willingly accept his own death, it's obscene.
Objection!
And yet, we can be sure that he was writing his will moments before his death. And that Genshin Asogi came to be in possession of that document. So what could the will possibly have contained? Clearly something that couldn't be made public under any circumstances whatsoever. Because armed with that document, my father was able to negotiate with the judiciary for his life. It was something so damning that it prompted the powers that be to enact that daring jailbreak plot. Yes, there can be no question that the will contained information of the utmost secrecy. Information of the utmost secrecy? Gah! No, it couldn't be. I've heard more than enough. Pursuing this notion of a phantom that nobody can attest to having seen serves absolutely no purpose.
Objection.
No, my lord, that's unacceptable. What did you say, counsel? The last will and testament that Genshin Asogi had in his possession was that of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. All the testimony and evidence presented to the court has logically led us to that as a possibility. We have a duty to pursue the line of reasoning to its conclusion. But with no possible means of knowing the contents of the document, there's no line of reasoning to pursue. Reason why Lord Clint Van Zeeks, a man of high noble standing, would have chosen death. Information so secret, people in the judiciary would be willing to negotiate the jailbreak of a condemned killer. The only explanation that fits those facts is an unthinkable truth that turns everything on its head. But it's just too hideous. Mr. Naruhodo. However difficult the situation might become, you work with your client in pursuit of the truth. That's what you resolved to do when you entered the courtroom this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Miss Suzato. So hold your head high and keep soldiering on. Yes, you're right. 10 years ago, in his final moments, Lord Clint Van Zeeks left behind a will. A will that Genshin Asogi was able to use as a weapon to negotiate his escape from prison. In all probability, the details in the will were related to the Professor case. The defense's last statement is mere conjecture. What are you getting at, man? Ryunosuke? As soon as these words come out of my mouth, there's no going back. I believe that the last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks was in fact... Oh, fuck. I mean, I was thinking confession. Oh, this is so fucked, if this is true. You can do this, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe that what Lord Clint Van Zeeks actually penned that day was a confession. A confession? Regarding the mass murderer known as the Professor, and his true identity.
Objection!
Enough, counsel. What are you saying? Do you even realize? A confession about the true identity of the Professor. That would mean... Lord Van Zeeks, I appreciate this must be hard to take in. But it's the only explanation that fits. The killer that terrorized London a decade ago and became known as the Professor. The man believed to have murdered 5 members of the aristocracy. Wasn't Genshin Asogi at all. No, you can't be suggesting... It was, in fact, the man believed to have been the 5th victim. Lord Clint Van Zeeks himself. Oh, fuck. Oh, bud. They're just fucking zooming away from him. It's finally open, is it? Pandora's box. The great Van Zeeks family, they've been thoroughbreds of the British judiciary for years. And Lord Clint Van Zeeks, he was a paragon of justice in the capital. But he was actually a mass murderer? A perpetrator of atrocities in the vilest nature. If the general public ever found out, law and order in this country would... something. My brother. Oh, this is too awful. Poor Lord Van Zeeks. I wonder, though, did he never suspect Mr. Naruhodo? Lord Barrick Von Zeeks is a brilliant prosecutor. Is it conceivable that he didn't realize what his older brother really was? Order! Order! Order in court! Lord Van Zeeks, professor made use of an enormous hound as his murder weapon. Tell me, did your brother own a dog? Yes, he did. Balmung. He was a well-known hunting dog. People called him a giant. I don't believe this. When my brother would go hunting in the forest of the grounds behind the house, he always took Balmung. After Clint's death, the creature passed away too, almost as if he were following his master. He was a magnificent hunting dog, worthy of the jewel-studded collar around his neck. A jewel-studded collar? That's right. Though, sadly, some years ago now it was stolen by There it is! There it is! There it is! It was stolen by a thief who broke into the house one night. A jewel-studded collar stolen by a thief. So it happens that myself and my colleagues have come across such a collar during our time in London. How could you? There was an old emblem attached to the collar too, made of pure gold. It was topped with a small crown and bore an ornate capital letter B. What? An emblem bearing the initial B? Oh my, you know it? It's the insignia of the Baskerville family. Oh shit! What? The Baskerville... Why is that name coming up now? Baskerville is the family name of my late brother's widow. That pure gold emblem was an heirloom which Clint acquired upon their marriage. The Hound of the Baskervilles! There can be no doubt then. The color you described was Balmung's. The family insignia of Lord Clint Van Zeek's widow. There was a considerable amount of blood on the collar when we saw it. Since we know the dog was used for hunting, it could have been from its quarry, of course. But it could equally have been from human prey. So is it true, then? Clint Van Zeeks really was the professor? Impossible! These Japanese are making it all up to exonerate their own! So, in fact, the person responsible for these murders of nobles and royals was a noble himself. And that threatened to be an enormous scandal that would irrevocably destabilize British society. My father knew that and was using it to negotiate his way out of unjust charges brought against him. But at the very last hour, those he'd bargained with betrayed him, slaying him mercilessly on foreign soil. Oh, buddy. Well, can you deny it, Lord Strongheart? 10 years have passed, and still now the 6 million inhabitants of our great capital rest easy, believing that justice was done. That though his anonymity remained, the diabolical murderer was caught and executed. Very well, then. You may have the truth. Oh, shit. So I guess I was wrong about him being the professor, but this is almost worse. Tell me, then. Tell me what Clint really was. You may have the truth, as a treat. Lord Clint Van Zeeks was too pure of heart. When he became a prosecutor and went in pursuit of the black roots of crime, he dove himself into a corner. He came to the uncomfortable realization that to fight the most fiendish of criminals requires one to become even more fiendish oneself. Clint. Cutscene. The 19th century was a truly miraculous 100 years for Great Britain, and indeed the whole world. New industry, new technology, and with the birth of the Metropolitan Police Service, new law and order. But these dazzling new developments meant ever deeper shadows were cast on society. Water sullied by factories, air thick with noxious fumes and crime, and growing daily to fill the darkness. Lord Clint Van Zeeks made it his mission to combat that darkness. But as time went on, it slowly ate at his soul until eventually he was consumed. It's ironic, really, and somewhat surprising that the truth has once again been unearthed by a Japanese. Once again? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, shit. Why did I want to say Gregory? That's not his fucking name. Genshin must have figured it out and killed him and been like, hey, write a confession and then you're gonna fucking die. And, I mean, well, just listen. 10 years ago, your father, Genshin Asogi, turned up at my office one night. The professor? Yes, beyond all shadow of doubt. You must issue a warrant to search his home at once. Don't be absurd. The man comes from one of our country's most illustrious families. He's a paragon of justice here in the capital. Yes, that's the point. That's why none of you British can see it. He's using his noble status as a diversion whilst he commits these atrocious crimes behind the scenes. Do you have evidence? Nothing definitive as yet. But he keeps an enormous savage hound on the estate. We need the full support of the judiciary for this. We're up against a member of the aristocracy. So a large family estate has a fierce guard dog. You should know that's commonplace here in Britain. I'm sorry, but I can't possibly put Scotland Yard onto this based on the tenuous accusation of a visiting student. Yeah. So I turned down Asogi's plea, and as a result, he took it upon himself to visit the Van Zeek's mansion on his own. We can only imagine now what happened between the two men. Though we know the outcome, of course. Lord Clint Van Zeek's perished. I don't believe this. So, in actual fact, Kazuma-sama's father did... He made the late Lord Van Zeeks meet the same fate. He put a permanent end to the professor killings. By taking the drastic measure of ending the perpetrator's life. As soon as I heard, I hurried to the mansion. When I arrived, it was easy to grasp what had happened. And? What about the will? Asogi must have already taken it. Nothing of that nature was found at the scene. We had no idea of the existence of such a document at the time. I was the only person who knew of the true identity of the professor. So, I resolved to keep it a secret, and to guard the secret with the bitter end. So, you're admitting to it? That you were behind it all? It was you, then, who pinned the crimes on my father! I did what needed to be done in order to protect the law and order of the British Empire. Even if that meant employing an unforgivable ruse. Then it was you who arranged this fabricated evidence. I ordered that detective to take care of it, whilst keeping the truth from him, naturally. Gregson? Obviously, he opposed me at first. Are you off your rocker? We can't do something like that. There's no question that it was Asogi who murdered Lord Van Zeeks. The house staff have made statements that they saw the man running into the mansion that night. Yes, well, I've no doubt it was that Japanese fella. But we haven't got a shred of conclusive evidence against the man. And worse than that, he doesn't keep a dog, so we're short of a murder weapon to boot. And we're short on time, Gregson. Yeah. We must put a stop to this man's rampage for the good of the country. So we'll use whatever means necessary. Do I make myself clear, Detective? Blimey. So that night 10 years ago, when I was attacked by those thugs in the back streets, and the Genshin's ring was taken. That was him, was it? That was Gregson and some hired help? Then the detective handed the stolen ring to Dr. Wilson, who feigned its discovery from the victim's stomach during that autopsy. And in the light of that decisive evidence, Mr. Isogi was found guilty of the charges brought against him. However, behind the scenes, he had actually already struck a deal with his accusers, in which he agreed to silently accept the charges. But I just don't believe that part. As far as I knew the man, my father despised such underhanded dealings. It was extremely easy to make him comply. You see, he had one crippling weakness. What weakness? Isn't it obvious? You, Kazuma Sogi. Me? Perhaps you have no desire to return to your homeland, Isogi. What? Though I hear you have a 14-year-old son. Agree to cooperate and accept your guilt without contention, and you will see Japan and your son again. You scoundrel! Whether you choose wisely or not, it will be a closed trial by order of Her Majesty. So whatever rash claims you might make in court will have no trouble in stifling them. There's only one outcome for you, Isogi. The gallows. Don't forget that I still have a weapon at my disposal. A document revealing a truth that I know you're desperate to keep hidden. Yes, it hadn't escaped my mind, which is the only reason I'm willing to bargain with you. I only want to protect this country's law and order, you understand. So, what's it to be, Isogi? Kazuma. God damn. He did it for me. And as I told him at the time, my motive was simply to protect Britain from the damage the truth would do. To protect this country's law and order at any cost.
Objection!
I've never dared let myself even consider this possibility until now. But in the light of all this treachery, I have to ask. The mastermind behind the Reaper of the Bailey. Was it you, Lord Mael Strongheart? A rather brilliant idea, wouldn't you say, Lord Barrack von Zeeks? I fucking called it! I was 50% right! That the spirit of your late brother, that paragon of justice, should return to reap justice for his sibling. Could there be a more appetizing tale for London's masses, I ask you? What Grayson? I knew that you'd play the part to perfection. But your role really wasn't that of some embodiment of death. No, you were London's guardian angel. An angel with bloody hands? I think not. It's actually wine, because I crush wine glasses in my hands fucking constantly. They are stained with red vintage. Those who had cooperated with me already were only too happy to participate in my plan. Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson. My minions worked tirelessly to ensure that the finger of guilt could never come to rest on you. It's all thanks to them that you were exalted as the demigod the Reaper became. But Dr. Wilson left Britain 4 years ago when he was invited to work in Japan. That's right. So I had to employ the services of his young protege after that. Dr. Courtney Scythe. Dr. Scythe? So what with the execution of the professor and the subsequent reign of the Reaper of the Bailey? I've successfully safeguarded law and order in our mighty capital for the past decade. That is everything. Son of a bitch! I told you guys he was sus as fuck! I was fucking right! Like 50%. I was saying that he was the Reaper for a while. I wasn't sure about the professor. But now that we know, I was right. Kazuma's just like, okay, so we can kill this guy now, right? We could just, I can just stab him. Is no one's gonna object if I just fucking stab this guy like right now, right? My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I do hereby confess, I was the one who sired the concept of the Reaper. However, let me say in my defense, it was all for the preservation of law and order across the entire empire. Sound bullshit. Lord Strongheart did it. An unforgivable collection of crimes, but still, all those who died at the... It was in aid of keeping London safe. Don't fall for his shit! There is no one left now who can reveal the precise truth of what happened 10 years ago. Therefore, this trial can go no further. Ooh, new music. Now, I would like to entreat all those present. Beyond these four walls, nobody need know the truth. Even Her Majesty must be protected from this. I trust you all appreciate the importance of my request. It is, of course, for the good of the country. Can he do this? Can the trial really end now? I have one last question. For the accused, Lord Van Zeeks. What? Of course, I know that you're a highly accomplished prosecutor, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't have any doubts at all. That you were never suspected your older brother. Yes, the same thought occurred to me. It was only once, but yes, I couldn't say that I never had my doubts. My brother's sense of justice was extremely strong. Perhaps too strong, I observed. At that time, there were members of the aristocracy who were bleeding the country dry for their own gain. And since they were nobles, they were untouchable. For my brother, it was a source of great turmoil. And coincidentally, at the time, the professor began his terrifying reign. During the time of the professor killings, my brother did not appear to be himself. And that made you suspect? Yes. But it was only once, no more. Only once? Really? Clint wasn't the culprit, but that was my conclusion at the time. And I still believe that now. Do you have any evidence to support that idea? The third victim was the Lord Chief Justice at the time. It was he who had recognized my brother's potential and framed him as a prosecutor. No matter what the circumstances, it's unthinkable that my brother could have killed his friend and mentor. That will do. Neither Clint Van Zeeks nor Genshin Asogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. But there are only two extant pieces of evidence from the time. The woebegone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Asogi, and the 3-page last will and testament penned in black ink and left by the man. The wretched truth of what happened is exactly as I have explained. I just had a weird thought of Sholmes busting in with the actual, confession. He's like, hold it! I have the answer to everything! It's a piece of paper. Wait. Didn't Iris write about the Hound of the Baskervilles? So Watson was investigating? What if he does know? What if he does fucking know? I'm gonna keep playing because I want to know. Later today, I will present myself in the Ministry of Justice for whatever sanction is deemed appropriate. And that is all. Court is adjourned. I need a himbo.
Objection!
Oh. Fuck yeah, Rinosuke, fucking get him! Thank you, Kazuma. But me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made this 11th hour discovery. What discovery? My lord? I'm afraid I must insist the trial continues. I beg your pardon. As the court has been reminded today already, we must stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth. And to that end, one particular statement made by somebody in this courtroom moments ago revealed a very subtle contradiction. What contradiction? But all I did was ask the accused one simple question. Well, it began with Lord Van Zeeks and his recollection about his brother. But Lord Strongheart didn't permit the defendant to speak at length. I merely pointed out that we can draw no further useful conclusions here, so where on earth is the contradiction? One of them definitely just said something contradictory. It's time to identify who. Lord Strongheart? It was Lord Strongheart, I'm sure of it. Something he said was slightly off. Come on, Rinosuke. Think back over his words, find the problem. Neither Clint Van Zeeks nor Genshin Isogi still walk this earth. However much we debate this matter now, we cannot hope to reach a conclusion. There are only 2 extant pieces of evidence from the time. The woebegone ring that acted as the incriminating evidence to condemn Genshin Isogi. And the 3-page last will and 3-page! It's a 2-page document, sir! Sir! It's 2 pages! I told you guys! There's a missing fucking page! Cause he stole shit from him! I didn't catch that! But I said, what if there are missing pages? And I was right! Lord Strongheart, would you care to explain? Explain what, Counsel? Among the statements you made just a few moments ago, something you said was inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence we have. Inconsistent. And whilst an inconsistency remains, the defense has a right to pursue an explanation. Rinosuke, what? Let me warn you about the statements you are making, Counsel. They may very well prove fatal. You claim my words contained a contradiction? With which piece of evidence, may I ask you? Boom! This here is the last will left behind by Mr. Isogi. The 2-page will. What? Yet moments ago, your precise words were the 3-page last will and testament. Yeah. Could it be that originally there was a 3rd page? For a moment, I thought perhaps you'd identified something worthwhile, but it's a mere trifle, I see. A trifle? Governor Caden. Yeah? What can I do for you, sir? You were present when the Japanese man penned his last will and testament. I was there for sure. I remember the weird-like scrolls to this day. And I'm quite certain, my lord, that there was a 3rd page at the time. What? Only the first 2 pages were the actual will, though. If I mind correctly, the 3rd was a message to his lad back in Japan. For legal purposes, we required only his will. And we wouldn't have wanted any uncomfortable words about Britain to get back to Japan, eh? So it was decided that the 3rd page ought not be sent.
Objection!
Oh, you sons of bitches! How dare you make that decision! I had a right to know what it said, to hear my father's final words to me! The courtroom is no place for sentimentality, Counsel. As it happens, I have the 3rd page of the document with me here now. My father's message! It will be given to you at the end of these proceedings. It'll be too late once the trial is over. We need to know what it says now. Even the slightest thing it may give us is a vital clue. My lord, the defense calls for Genshin Isogi's last words to his son to be read out loud before the court now. Your request is denied. The inevitably maudlin words can be of no consequence now. The prosecution agrees. The court should know the content of that message. Every possible piece of evidence must be thoroughly examined. Very well, then, Governor Caden. You will read the third page of the document for all present to hear. Yes, sir! Only, he can't read Japanese, can he? Only, I should point out, my lord, that I cannot actually read Wirram language. This beautiful handwriting? Shame on you, Barry. Who's this? Sholmes? Oh, no, there he is! I was like, Sholmes can't read Japanese, who's this? If I could be of assistance here, I would be happy to translate the words into English for the court. Father! You're still here, are you, Dr. Mikotoba? Naturally, I consider myself a member of the judiciary, albeit a lonely one. But perhaps I should quietly withdraw after I've translated Genshin's message. Your cooperation is much appreciated. Kazuma, I'm gonna read this in the dad's voice. Kazuma, the truth is shrouded in darkness. The darkness only our clan's great sword can pierce. Mighty Kaduma, twist thy head and watch them fall. The will is hidden in the sword! Mighty Kaduma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. That's the end of the message, it would seem. A haiku poem. Twist thy head. Father. What is Kaduma? The name of the Asogi clan's famous sword. A razor-sharp blade known to all, passed down for generations. It embodies the Japanese spirit. It's not known to me. It's the katana sword that was submitted as evidence earlier in these proceedings. The one worn by the prosecution counsel when he confronted Inspector Gregson. All these procrastinations are beginning to try my patience. Adjournment of this court is long overdue. As the presiding judge, I have been as accommodating as possible to the will of the courtroom. However, despite all that, no new information has come to light. Yeah. In pursuit of justice, Lord Clint Van Zieks tragically lost all sense of morality. When he murdered his former mentor, clearly he was already devoid of his normal faculties.
Objection!
How dare you! I refuse to believe that of my brother! Too much time has passed. We cannot ever hope to know more than we do now. Especially since the alleged will that he penned in his final moments appears to have been lost forever. Because it's in the sword! It's in the sword! Unscrew the sword! Look at it! Look at it! Mighty Kaduma, twist thy head and watch them fall, all thy mortal foes. That's the proper way to use the sword, is it? Maybe I should try it. It hurts my neck, that's the trouble. Mr. Naruhodo, if I might make a suggestion, I think perhaps it doesn't mean your head. Really, my son? Oh. I once studied the history and development of the kana some time ago, and as I'm sure you're probably aware, the sword's head is the part at the very end of the hilt. It's written as head in Japanese, but it's pronounced as kashida, I believe. Kashida? So Mr. Asogi's words really mean twist the butt of the hilt? You don't think... I was right! Look what's inside it. Is that a tightly wound sheet of parchment? Fuck yeah! Scarlet Ink! It's written in Scarlet Ink! I penned this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. This is it, isn't it? Mr. Naruhodo, look at the signature at the end. Clint Van Zieks. And the date, 10 years ago on that fateful night. So for 10 years, it's been silently concealed inside Kaduma and nobody knew. The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zieks. Wait. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is unbelievable. I want to read it! I want to read it! Show it to me, I want to read it! What terrible secrets does it contain? You're not gonna let me fucking read it? Okay, fine. Lord Strongheart, you appear to be something of a hurry to wrap things up. I wonder why. Because he had the sword in his cell, so he fucking hid it in the sword! Because they knew, like, people wouldn't know to check there. Ah! We've heard you say time and time again during these proceedings that everything you did was in the interest of protecting British law and order. And I stand by that. See me standing? Without the Reaper, we could never have achieved the reduction in crime the capital has seen. What about Inspector Gregson, then? And Dr. Wilson? They were no criminals. You used them to achieve your ends, and then you had them killed. However you dress it up, there was nothing fair or just about that. Lord Strongheart, what exactly is it that you're hiding? Dr. Mikotoba, were you not to quietly withdraw after the translation of your former associate's will? Bitch. In this courtroom, no argument carries weight unless it is supported by evidence. And it would seem that the defense has no more evidence to present. Yeah we do! Yeah we do! We've got some fucking evidence! In which case, I hereby order all discourse from these proceedings to be struck from the record. Fuck your discourse! And this is my last chance. Mr. Naruhodo! I have to present some decisive evidence now or it's all over. But can I? Fuck yeah we can. Wait, my lord. As it happens, the defense does have evidence to present. What? Yeah, it's the jingle jangle music! What? Don't be absurd. There's nothing of relevance remaining from the time.
Objection!
It's high time that you realized something, my lord. Well, this gentleman has an uncanny habit of producing evidence at the final hour that had escaped everyone else's attention. Nonsense. What is it, Ryunosuke? What do you have? Let me see what you have. A knife! What? I mean Kanuma! I dare say the final decisive piece of evidence that will reveal the whole truth about this rotten tale. How can you... Decisive? Well, it would appear there's no escaping it now, my lord. Let it be so, then. Present whatever you think you have that can settle this decade-old enigma, if you're capable. What exactly is this evidence that the defense claims to be so decisive? A kablam! There is a single piece of evidence that can clarify what really happened 10 years ago. The last will and testament of Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Ha! A wonderfully astute observation, I'm sure. But in case it had escaped your notice, that document was lost long ago. We just found it. Did you not see us digging through the court record? We just found it. That's right. It was. Only... I have it right here. Discovered just moments ago. Boom jams! Eat shit! Impossible! That can't be! Everything that's happened comes back to this will. This document is the key that will unlock the entire mystery. Yeah! Break down, motherfucker! Let me see your grr face as your plan falls to pieces, you son of a bitch. Priden345, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Stream Squad. my brother's last will and testament. Where did you find that? It was rolled up inside this. Inside Kaduma? That ultimate weapon Genshin Isogi obtained has lain undisturbed in the hilt of this sword all these years, just waiting for the right time to emerge and reveal the truth. The signature and seal certainly look official. My God, it's true. My brother's handwriting. There can be no mistake. I like how the other two just quietly left. I forbid the contents of that document from being read out loud. Do you hear me? I strictly forbid it. Do it, do it, do it, do it! You can't do that, my lord, because I said you can't. I'm a lawyer. Fuck you. This document could explain everything. That document could literally destroy the meaning of justice in this country. I demand that you hand it to me at once. Why? What are you trying to hide? Get wrecked. Could it be that you already know what's written on this page? Wait, was I right? Was he the professor and Clint just took the fall for it? Or like he was telling him what to do? What are you implying? Court is adjourned with immediate effect. Clear the courtroom.
Objection!
Do that, my lord, and you'll suffer a fatal blow as Lord Chief Justice. I'll kick you right in the fucking face. I beg your pardon? Forcibly ending a trial without good reason? And not any trial, a closed trial by order of Her Majesty the Queen. Fuck you, Shu. To defy the monarch's will is treason. Get his ass! It's exactly as the young Japanese man said. Read it out, now! We have a right to hear what's in that will. A right and a duty. Well, well, my lord. It would rather appear as though proceedings aren't going to go quite as you'd hoped. You fools! Go ahead, Rinosuke, read it. The prosecution gives its full support. Fuck yeah, I love this shit. Very well then. No, for God's sake. No! Get fucked, Captain Stopwatch! Alright, what the fuck does it say? I pen this, my last will and testament, in the final moments before my inevitable and willing death. The hour is 11 p.m. and I sit at my writing desk in my office. My good friend Isogi stands at my shoulder. He has expressed his intent to invoke the dying ritual of the duel, that I may depart this world with honor. An honor of which I am utterly undeserving. The Japanese are a truly merciful people. I, Clint Van Zieks, Lord of the Manor of the Van Zieks Estate, hereby confess to the following. I am the killer who has come to be known in society as the Professor, guilty of 4 counts of murder. I will not here discuss the corruption rife among the aristocracy, which is to me, as one of them, so apparent. However, 6 months ago, I took the life of a member of the House of Lords at the heart of the depravity. A demon who habitually sacrificed the common man to further his own interests, abusing his position of power. The law is impotent against such vile avarice. Only a fellow demon can rid society of this menace. That demon was my quarry, upon whom I willingly set my great hound. But though I am a hunter of some experience, I am a poor felon, it seems. My guilt was at once recognized by another, and I became subject to his extortion. He held over me the threat of exposing my wicked crime to my beloved wife and brother. Under that threat, I have done this man's bidding for months now, killing those he demanded I kill. As I watched my former mentor perish before my eyes at the jaws of the Hound I commanded, I realized that I had lost the last shred of decency within me, and sunk to the level of a wild beast. There is no path back to the light. Be it I or my dear friend Isogi who dies this night, I am eternally damned. To my extortioner, male Strongheart, may you feel the jaws of the beast at your throat every time you swallow. Also, holy fuck! He fucking extorted blah 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 blah. There's too many names in this damn game. So Clint killed the first guy, was found out immediately, and then Strongheart was like, yeah, guess what? If you don't want people to know, you're gonna keep doing that, and I'm gonna tell you who to kill, and you're gonna do it. Holy fuck. I was kind of sort of right. Like, of course he didn't do it himself. He got somebody else to do it, but, like, still, that's the whole, like, conceit about it. And that's what I was saying, like, because the Reaper is basically just the same shit. He's just forcing people to do murder for him for the good of the country. I was fucking right! Big brain! So now we know, yes, Clint Van Zieks was a murderer, but somebody was directing him and naming his victims, just like the fucking Reaper! His extortioner, Lord Male Strongheart. It was you! Lord Strongheart, a moment ago, you claimed that what the court has just heard could destroy justice in this country. But you weren't trying to protect justice at all. All you were trying to do was protect yourself, you sick son of a bitch. Was conceal the secret of your true crime and the countless lives you sacrificed up until now. It just didn't make sense to me. That the third victim, the former Lord Chief Justice, was my brother's benefactor and a man of lofty principles. As I said, Clint had no possible reason to kill the man. But you did, didn't you? But you did, didn't you, Lord Strongheart? To eliminate the man who stood between you and the office you'd set your sights on. So you used your own hunting dog, Lord Clint Van Zieks, to take him down. It had to be done. London's unsavory shadows are deep, and the arm of the law fails to reach their depths. Crime must be cut off at the roots, but the Lord Chief Justice at the time couldn't see that. He was weak. Lofty principles, you say? Tantamount to cowardice, if you ask me. Which is why I took his place, in order to fight the crime he was allowing to spread like wildfire. By murdering the man, the Reaper, the Professor, the name makes no difference. As I've explained countless times already, it was all done for the furtherance of law and order in London.
Objection.
Are you going to legitimize the murder of my father now, too? Ah, Genshin Asogi. Well, that was unfortunate. I had fully intended to send him back to Japan as we'd agreed. I don't believe you! It was you, wasn't it? You killed him! No, it wasn't me who took your father's life. Then who? On the night following his mock execution, I went to Lowgate Cemetery at 3 in the morning with Jigoku. Judge Jigoku? There had to be a collaborator on the Japanese side to manage Asogi's treatment after his repatriation. Jigoku had fierce ambition. It made him easy to manipulate. 10 years ago, after he'd stood trial for the destruction of the witness stand, I had words with him. When I told him the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs could be his, he couldn't agree fast enough. Seishiro, you fool. As you know, Asogi escaped the prison in a closed casket and was subsequently interred. We intended to dig him out of his grave before he ran out of air. But sadly, all did not go to plan. Yeah. There was an unexpected visitor to the cemetery with his own ideas about digging up graves. A man who witnessed what nobody was supposed to see. Enoch Drebber. Of course, I knew grave robbers frequented London's cemeteries. But that grave on that particular night... Blast! If people find out the convict wasn't really executed, the scandal will rock the very foundations of the Empire. Then what do we do? Shoot him, Mr. Jigoku! Shoot Asogi at once! He can't live now that this has happened. He has to go. What are you talking about? You had an agreement. You promised him he could return to Japan. Everything has changed now. If the truth got out because of this, both of us would be finished. Forever. Come on, Jigoku, do it! Pull the trigger! Shoot! Fucking hell. Why didn't you just kill Drebber? He was the fucking witness. That would have made more sense. Jigoku shot Asogi from the shadows. The grave robber was so close the blood splayed over his coat. He fled as fast as his legs would carry him. Then Jigoku and I put Asogi's body back in the grave from which he just emerged. When I later learned of the Waxworks modeler's presence at the scene as well, I made her swear to 2 things. Never to remove the professor's mask, and never to speak of the events of that night. And with that, the secret was buried along with Asogi's corpse. So, now you know what really happened in Lowgate Cemetery that night. I still can't believe I was right. I'm still kind of riding that high a little bit. It's fucked up, but I was right. I'm the attorney. But also, God, what the fuck? Strongheart, you son of a bitch. Like, I don't even have the words. It was Jikoku, your Japanese acquaintance, who killed Asogi in the end, you see. He claimed to be the man's friend, but when push came to shove, he pulled the trigger. Well, we already took care of him. So, just before Mr. Jigoku left the courtroom earlier, he said that the assassin exchange proposal was a demand from his British counterpart, not a request. So you coerced him too, using what happened in the graveyard. By that time, Jigoku was Minister of Foreign Affairs, negotiating international treaties with Japan. You can imagine what would have happened if it came to light he'd murdered a compatriot 10 years earlier. He would have lost everything. I merely reminded him of that. How can you sleep at night? These past 10 years, I've fought tirelessly with the darker recesses of London's criminal underworld, and I've used whatever means necessary to ensure that justice prevails and law and order reign supreme.
Objection!
Objection! You're fucked in the head! That couldn't be further from the truth. The fact is, you haven't fought crime at all. How dare you? I saved Clint Van Zieks from the dishonor in his death.
Objection!
Whilst behind the scenes, you systematically buried anyone who stood in your way. And then you made my father take the blame. It was unavoidable. It was the only way to protect our justice system and public order. Let's not forget the others you had killed as well. Setting the defendant up as the Reaper to cover up the truth behind the murders of countless more. That's enough! Do you have any idea of the conniving that led to the acquitals of those wretched criminals? We have to fight fire with fire! Our courts can't function without a Reaper! Can't you see all I've done for this country? This has been my struggle! You've done nothing! It's Lord Van Zieks here who worked tirelessly and justly in court whilst enduring the disgrace of the Reaper name! Damn, Kazuma, get him! They're buds now! And Inspector Gregson, fraught with anguish for having sullied his hands through a desire to do the right thing. Not to mention Genshin Asogi, who risked his life going in pursuit of the truth you tried to hide. No, the darker recesses of London's underworld were largely filled by you. You little... When will you get it through your thick skulls? That it was all for Queen and Country? I'm tiring of that excuse. You've consistently twisted the truth for bargaining power to make others do your bidding. Nothing more. People who willingly twist the truth and coerce others have no right to call themselves part of the judiciary. I strongly suggest you don't ever talk of justice again. Fuck this guy! Get his ass! Get his ass! And he has died. Ah, no. Well, well, well. Dear me, my good fellows, dear me! A well-deserved round of applause, I think, for a quite marvelous performance. What are you talking about? Those delightfully grave expressions, that beautifully pronounced Queen's English. Really, our friends from the Far East are quite the picture of industriousness. You fraud, keep your mockery. Please, don't misunderstand. It really is exactly as you both said. What are you trying to say? I have occupied the darker recesses of London's underworld and, how did you put it? Done nothing? I confess it's a little embarrassing to have it pointed out quite so starkly, but yes, I really have done nothing, which means I can't be indicted for nothing. No? What? It's true. Personally, I've committed no crime. I've merely been surrounded by fools who've acted very rashly indeed. You can't get away with that! You've consistently preyed on people's weaknesses. And what? Threatened them? Are you sure it wasn't just bargaining? Holy fuck. I would like to address all the good lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the judiciary here present. You all know of these darker recesses in our great capital, and deep down I believe you also know that to fight those who dwell there requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. So let me appeal to your good sense now. Consider the situation with me. If this catalogue of horrifying revelations were to become common knowledge among the 6 million inhabitants of London, what might happen? To learn that the infamous murderer of royals and nobles was a respected member of the aristocracy himself, that evidence was fabricated in the scapegoat's trial amid secret negotiations with prosecutors to effect a jailbreak, that the Reaper of the Bailey was an organized group of assassins managed by a Scotland Yard inspector, and finally, that it was all masterminded by the Lord Chief Justice himself. If the general public of Britain knew the truth, all faith in the police and the prosecutor's office would be completely lost, without doubt. Public order in the capital would completely break down. It'd be cast back to the lawless days of the last century. Precisely. And it was 100 years ago when 1 in 10 of the population were criminals. Think what we've accomplished since then. A public policing force, a comprehensive set of laws. And if we want to continue to protect this new era of law and order, I say it again, we must at times occupy the darkness ourselves. I need a fucking drink. I've been screaming a lot. We have successfully identified and apprehended the man responsible for taking Inspector Gregson's life. That is all that was expected of this trial. All these other matters that have been discussed will be eliminated from the minutes of these proceedings in the interests of preserving law and order, and to protect Her Majesty the Queen, of course. Well, my lords, ladies, and gentlemen, what say you? He has a point. The things Lord Strongheart has done are quite unforgivable. But on the other hand, isn't it our duty to maintain law and order in the capital? You can't deny that the threat of the Reaper over the years has done wonders for the crime rate. And by fair means or foul, that's all thanks to Lord Strongheart. No, what? No! Fuck, no! Are you serious? Are you hearing this? This is the will of the British judiciary? For your rousing response, friends, I express my heartfelt gratitude. Therefore, in accordance with the overwhelming wishes of the court, the record shall be erased. You have to respect the man's ability to turn a situation to his favor. Lord Strongheart really is a master of manipulation. You've conclusively proven his guilt, yet he still manages to evade justice. I don't know what we can do. Ryunosuke, it looks like the trial really is going to come to an end now. I'm almost out of options, I think. There's really only one path left open to me. I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what the game wants me to do. Yes, as I know only too well. The only thing that carries any weight in court is hard evidence. But, Mr. Naruhodo, what evidence is there to use at this stage in the trial? I have an idea. I don't know whether anything will come of it, but if there was ever a time for using this particular item we have amongst the evidence, it's now. I need a himbo! I'm holding out for a himbo in the courtroom tonight! Oh my, yes, Mr. Sholmes asked it if you had that with you earlier. We've exposed all of Lord Strongheart's wrongdoing now. I have no doubt that Mr. Sholmes has already deduced exactly how the truth would unfurl. So I think it must be time for the great detective to take center stage, don't you? Yes! Yes! Yes, absolutely. Let's take the hair by the ears then, and heave! All right, here goes. Heave! Ow, 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 ow! My dear fellows, must I remind you every time, a gentle tug will suffice. Mr. Sholmes, you're looking quite the wrong direction, Mr. Naruhodo, because I'm over here. Yeah, Mr. Naruhodo, he's... What? It's Mr. Sholmes! I'm sorry, what? I wasn't expecting you back, Sholmes. Why is he a hologram? Delighted to be here again, Lord Strongheart. What the fuck? What is the meaning of this? Bailiff, seize him. Put that man in irons. You can't arrest a hologram, you dead son of a bitch! This is a closed court. You've been warned once already, man. What the? We can't get a hold of him, my lord. We just go right through him. Look at him fucking twerk. Look at him go. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. We just go right through him. Look at him dance. Look at him go. I'm afraid your efforts are wasted. You see, the great detective you see before you is composed entirely of light and shadow. An image, if you will. What the fuck? What is he doing? Mr. Naruhodo, I must congratulate you on your fine deductions. Mr. Sholmes? What on earth is... Are you familiar, I wonder, with the invention known as the telephone? Well, yes, I hear that some public telephones have been installed recently in Tokyo. The sound of the speaker's voice is converted into an electrical signal and transmitted instantly to another place. You guys! Sholmes is a VTuber! Holy shit! Oh my god! Amazing! Oh, I just scared my shit out of my cat. Quite. Sounds are transmitted, so could not images keep them company, I mused. Iris and I did some modest experimentation to develop such a device specifically for this very day. Modest experimentation, Mr. Sholmes? What a modest description. And somewhat incidentally, I thought we might just as well transmit an entire scene. Somewhat incidentally, Mr. Sholmes? Now you're just being immodest. Do you mean to say you're not actually here, Sholmes? Ah, I knew my trusty partner would have no trouble grasping the concept. Except he's grasping the stand to steady himself after your shock arrival. Poor father. I would have hoped this might have been forewarned, being the great detective's great partner. Leave my courtroom at once! Get out, or I swear to you... Dear me. You, on the other hand, Lord Strongheart, appear to have a very poor grasp of the situation. Allow me to reiterate, I am not here, which would, I hope, lead naturally to one asking, where exactly are you? The very question I was awaiting. I am at present enjoying the air in a rather splendid garden. A garden? Not just any garden, you understand? A garden at Buckingham Palace. What? You can't be! Buckingham Palace? What's Buckingham Palace, Miss Usato? I've never heard of it. Do you ever read the news, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? Is Iris with you there? Well now. Iris is currently enjoying some tea with Her Majesty. Holy shit! Her Majesty? Not just any Her Majesty, you understand. Her Majesty the Queen of the British Empire. What? Holy shit. What on earth is all this about? Buckingham Palace is Her Majesty the Queen's residence in London, Mr. Naruhodo. Order! Order in the court! I demand immediate silence! Her Majesty the Queen? You can't be... I mean, no. This is some sort of unforgivably distasteful trickery by a third-rate detective. That's all! Unforgivably tasteful trickery. What an apt description. Post-court session attended by elite members of the judiciary is a rare event. I presumed that Her Majesty would be more than a little curious about the proceedings. So I decided to show her everything from start to finish. Holy fuck! Charles, you fucking madman! You showed her? Indeed. By the dint of the Herlock Sholmes remote cinematograph. You meddling... This is some kind of nightmare. Just as I appear to be standing before you, regaling you with talk of my latest invention. No doubt you've inferred that the reverse is also true. You don't mean... Her Majesty has seen and heard every moment of the proceedings. I assume there would be no objection. After all, every trial in this country is conducted under the auspices of Her Majesty, as you know. You... I confess I am quite impatient to hear Her Majesty's opinion about the unforgivably distasteful trickery in which you've been engaged over the last 10 years. No! I was merely...
Oh, hi, Iris! Oh, so sorry to keep you all waiting. Vicky and I had so much to talk about. Iris, there you are. In fact, I have a little message here from Her Majesty.
Message? Well then, if everyone is sitting comfortably, forthwith and with immediate effect, all authority previously afforded to Male Strongheart is hereby revoked forevermore. Furthermore, he will be prosecuted for crimes against his country in a public trial by jury in the coming days. So, it seems that Her Majesty doesn't believe we need to fight fire with fire. Justice in this country needn't be administered from the shadows at all. Male Strongheart. The darkness you fostered to conceal your despicable actions these last 10 years is a thing of the past now. After today, your brand of law and order has no future. Because you are no longer are you the Chief Lord Justice, and Law and Order's been cancelled! In the eyes of the law and of Her Majesty the Queen, you are nothing but a criminal. Get his ass! Adjourned! 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 Court is adjourned! Ah, fucking rip. I was waiting for that shit to break. Die. Oh, no, damn it. God. Oh? I was kind of hoping to get him. Damn! And then the Old Bailey burned down. I was warning you guys from the very beginning. That shit's a fire hazard. You scorched son of a bitch! Look at his fucking cravat, it's all singed. Lord Clint Van Zeeks left a will in which he confessed to everything. When those words came out of Asogi's mouth, it deranged me completely. I knew I must do everything and anything and everything in my power to contain the situation. But I couldn't find the damn document. I searched his cell, but it wasn't there. Which precipitated the jailbreak plot, I presume. What do you mean? The need to obtain that will was all-consuming. I was sure that if I facilitated Asogi's escape, he would emerge with the will somewhere on his person. But despite searching his limp body in the cemetery that night, it still eluded me. It never even crossed my mind that it was concealed in the sword's hilt. Get wrecked. You motherfucker. Eat shit and die. Onegai shimasu. What pains me now is that my brother left this world without the word to me. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks.
In point of fact, I think perhaps that isn't the case.
Sorry? How can that be?
There is more to his last will and testament.
What? As I confront the prospect of my demise, I feel bitter regret for my younger brother. Barak, you have always looked up to me, and now you follow in my footsteps to become a prosecutor. It is my fervent wish that my unspeakable deeds should not hinder your advancement. I ask not for understanding, for none could understand my depravity. I ask only for forgiveness.
Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zeeks.
Clint. Oh, buddy. Male Strongheart, you colluded with Seishiro Jigoku in a criminal plot so immense it spanned the oceans, and you cold-heartedly murdered all those who knew the truth about what happened 10 years ago. But why did you set about that now, a whole decade later? To ascend to the very peak. These last 10 years made me realize being the Lord Chief Justice wasn't enough. Short of becoming Her Majesty's Attorney General, I could have no real power to effect changes needed in the country. And for that promotion, I needed to ensure no remnants of the past remained. How could you? I like everything to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribe, like a well-oiled machine. And I was just a step away. And for your ambition to succeed, did you even bother to count the number of brilliant people you had killed? Ah, Mr. Reaper, are you not forgetting something? Such as... You've very much adopted your usual prosecutor-like demeanor in the proceedings now. But the reality of the situation is that you are the defendant in this trial. However, the presiding judge would appear to have fallen from the bench, as it were. May I suggest, therefore, that we entrust the final adjudication to an old friend? Hi, Santa! My lord. As a member of the judiciary, I have been following the proceedings from the gallery. What the
fuck was all that about? My gods! And I must say, I shan't ever forget the extraordinary battle between good and evil that I witnessed here today. Almost set fire to the whole courtroom. I think we're gonna get rid of those scales. The darkness that has blighted justice in our land these past 10 years has at last been dispelled. Thanks in no small part to the efforts of a bright young star from the east. Defense Counsel Naruhodo? Yes, my lord? On behalf of everyone here at present in the Old Bailey, I give you my heartfelt thanks. You're too kind, my lord. The first time I faced you in court just under a year ago now, I had the faintest of intimations that the British justice so warped and twisted over its long history was finally to know change. This might just be the man to do it. What? But at the time, I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge the possibility. I couldn't overcome my hatred of the Japanese. He said the word Japanese! He stopped calling them Nipponese again. Hey! Character growth, baby! We love to see it. After the circumstances of my brother's death. Mr. Naruhodo, allow me to apologize for countless discourtesies on my part. You are a lawyer of boundless talent. Oh, Lord Van Zeeks. When I first arrived in Great Britain, I was literally a nobody. Certainly not a lawyer. But the truth is, my fortunes have entirely been made by the miraculous people I've met. My best friend, Kazuma Sogi, who led me here to Britain in the first place. My loyal and ever-patient judicial assistant, Miss Suzato, who helped me study to become a lawyer. And the brilliant Lord Van Zeeks, who never failed to challenge his Nipponese rival. And not to mention, the exceptional master of logic and reasoning who showed me the true art of deduction, Mr. Sholmes. Saving the best for last, Mr. Naruhodo! What a relief. God. I'm well aware that without all these people's help and support, I wouldn't be where I am today. Truth is a guiding light that always leads to happiness. I've lived by that principle for a long time now. But actually, it's not true. Truth can also cause great pain, sometimes even leave people on the brink of despair. And for that reason, there are those who feel the need to hide the truth, who do it instinctively even. But as soon as we allow our eyes to settle on something other than the truth, the darkness takes hold. And from there it grows until eventually it makes us blind to the guiding light of the truth altogether. So that's why it's my belief that we must all resolve never to avert our eyes from what is just and true. So that we can continue to walk the straight and narrow path ahead. Brilliant words, my son! Brilliant and inspiring words, my son! I love him so much. A very good boy. Well, I must excuse myself now. But before I go, Mr. Naruhodo, let me compliment you on your grand opus. What? Without your beautifully composed case against Lord Strongheart, Her Majesty would have been unable to act. Thanks to you and your fellows, the haunting undertones of corrupting Britain's justice system have been silenced. Thank you very much. So, until our paths cross again somewhere. Probably later this afternoon, because we live at the same house. Well then, it would appear that this long trial has finally come to an end. My apologies for any anxiety caused, my lord. Sorry the guy kind of set your courtroom on fire earlier. No, it's fine. We have fire extinguishers. I'm quite sure we shall meet again here in the courtroom before long, Prosecutor Barak von Zeeks. In conclusion of these proceedings, I hereby declare the defendant Barak von Zeeks. Boom, baby! Fuck yeah! We did it! Woohoo! That is all. Court is adjourned.
Boom. Boom jams. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
It really is all over. Did I sacrifice too much? Mr. Naruhodo? I really must congratulate you. It was a truly splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you.
Oh, thank you very much. But I really couldn't have done it without you at my side through it all, Miss Usato.
Oh. Your kind words mean so much to me.
It really was a splendid show, that, Naruhodo. I'd have thought you'd be smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather glum. Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict. But in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer ought to be doing.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zeeks' smiling face, everything will seem much better.
Mrs. Otto? Everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder.
Oh dear. I really shouldn't have presumed.
Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Almost a year it's been now, since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. But you have risen to the level of excellence you demonstrated today. Well, it's quite remarkable. But I exposed the most unpalatable truth you could have ever imagined in court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear. What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. Yeah. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with a steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing that fact in court today. Oh. Well, thank you.
What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here.
Kazuma. There he is, and he's not smiling. Nope. Miss Suzato? There's another face like thunder here.
Oh my, and he really was here.
Hi, buddy boy. Lord Van Zeeks. Yeah, you boys need to apologize to each other. Allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal. Congratulate me? Or curse me? You failed to bring down the Reaper. Or, wait, no, I pressed the button too fast. What did he actually say? Oh, no, I was right. Ha. I owe you an apology. Or, fuck. No, it is I who should apologize. Your father, Genshin. If I had been stronger, then perhaps... I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse. And I can offer no forgiveness. That said... I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that, at least, I can't withhold respect. Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear. Oh yeah, my bit rate is fucked right now. Are we good? I can't actually see the video on my end. It looks fine on OBS, but if Twitch is messing up. Are we good? How are we doing, chat? Let me know when you guys see the save screen. Because if it's still buffering, then... Yeah, it's fine on my end. It must just be Twitch or my internet. I'm not sure which, but I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going.
Kazuma-sama.
I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Van Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. Ugh. Sogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zeeks. What can the second of his final wishes have been? That your father agreed to honor, you mean? I think perhaps... Who is this, Mikotoba? Yeah. I might be able to shed some light on that. What? Father? It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? If you'd only agree to it, Seishiro and I would gladly petition the government. We've been through this already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyway, Yujin, I have a favor to ask of you. Something of great importance. You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done. I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret and telling no one. You should find a lady of the gentry in hiding there. A lady of the gentry? She's not in a good way, and she's with child. The birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope. By any chance, is the child yours, Genshin? Don't be daft. It's a favor that was asked of me by a man I knew, as his dying wish. My goodness. I swore to the man that I would help, that I would do whatever I could for his wife and his unborn child. But if something should happen to me, I need to ask you the same favor. You're the only person I know that I can truly rely on. What did you say? If something should happen to you, tomorrow night you're going to be... You never know, though, do you? What life will bring. Alright then, tell me the address. I'll head there at once with Seishiro and no, not with him. Pardon? This is a favor I'm asking of you. And only you, Yujin. Right, I see. Very well then. Are Iris and Barrack like cousins? I will die. Hi, Yazu! You can't- we are like finishing the game right now. There's some shit happening! That very night I caught a train from Paddington to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house. In the middle of nowhere it was. An old hunting hound lay asleep on the grounds. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of a darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her waters to precipitate the labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. I did everything humanly possible for her and her child. Iris! Holy shit! And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world. But tragically,
My efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I held the healthy newborn girl in my arms and wept for longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was precious little in it, but an old travel trunk caught my eye. It had clearly been well looked after over the years, made of top-quality leather with fine stitching. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it that everything dropped into place. Oh my god. B for Baskerville.
Baskerville? You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Clint Van Zeeks?
That's right. The newborn was his daughter.
But that makes no sense! Why on earth wouldn't Clint have entrusted the child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware that he even had a daughter.
I suppose he didn't really have any choice.
What?
Well, your brother said that he'd confessed everything to his wife, so she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of an infamous mass murderer.
Yeah.
So the only solution was to distance the young girl from the Van Zeeks family as much as possible.
Holy shit!
I don't believe it. I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Clint Van Zeeks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, this Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later I was summoned back to Japan. And without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me.
Oh, how awful.
I was completely at a loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her. That being Mr. Sholmes, I presume? Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot. Mr. Sholmes has a heart of gold. And playing both sides of the bell curve, I cannot believe the secret genius dumbass. Holy shit. Really, all it can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name. Oh? Well, when I'd come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I... Oh! So it was her name that I gave to the little girl. Your wife's name, Professor Mikotoba? In other words...
The name of my mother. Ayame Mikotoba.
Oh! That's right, Ayame. Or in English, Iris. Holy shit! Oh my god. Iris.
I had no idea.
Ting dong. Ouch! Mr. Naruhodo, what's wrong? Well, the thing just pinched me on the on the behind through my trouser pocket. Hard! Ah, my dear fellows, can you hear me? Mr. Sholmes, is that you? Ding dong. Ow! Yes, we can hear you. You see what excessive tugging can do? Let that be a lesson to you.
Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to thank you properly before, but you were simply marvelous. Your checkmate move with a stroke of genius.
Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surpassed myself, I feel. It had become apparent to me that to stop the Lord Chief injustice would require such measures.
Bruno, Susie!
Oh, Iris. Yeah, everybody fucking knows!
Oh, I'm so pleased! What a wonderful outcome! Her Majesty Queen Vicky said she thought my special blend was delicious.
Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris.
Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too, because you're part of the family now! Literally! What? I'm afraid I couldn't. The Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl. Again.
No, really? Oh, pooh.
But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude. Shy, flustered motherfucker, I love him.
Oh, how lovely. You promise now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then.
All right, Iris. Thank you for all your help earlier.
Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon.
Ouch! One final pinch goodbye, was it? Oh, it's a Kazu smile! Yay, buddy! Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to accompany me? Boys! Gonna go hang out! Certainly. Buddies! Pals! Homies! Amigos! Mr. Naruhodo, allow me to once again express my deep gratitude to you. I believe you saved my life. In more ways than one. God, I love this so much. Wait, Lord Van Zeeks! Yes. What are you intending to do now? Well, clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office.
Oh, no!
I intend to publicize the full truth about the professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zeeks family will be ostracized completely from London society.
Surely not.
So as soon as I am free from my employment, I shall leave the capital. Oh, I see. Don't be a fool. Is this Cosma? Yeah. Look at them standing next to each other. Look at these buds. Are those the actions of a man once feared as the mighty Reaper of the Bailey? I beg your pardon? For the past 10 years, you've endured that pseudonym and been cast as one of the dark forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed from that disrepute, your battle is just beginning, surely. Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips. I waited a very long time to come to London. Now I'm properly here, I intend to learn all I can. Anyway, goodbye for now, Rinosuke Naruhodo. Love them. Kazuma Asogi. Seems as though he's really matured suddenly.
He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner.
We must. This is so cute. I love this. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. I'm home! Gina! Yeah!
About time you got here. I've been waiting ages, Otto.
What are you doing with that colorful piece of history?
It's a party, isn't it? It's gonna go off with a bang. I mean, fireworks, ideally. But when you ain't got fire, smoke's the best thing, ain't it?
There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think.
Right. I'll remember that.
You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak. You really must hear this. It's the most extraordinary thing. Who is this? I assure you it will defy your expectations. Take down every detail now, Mikotoba. The world-famous great detective regaling his partner with the tale of his adventure. A sight to behold. Would you care to hazard a guess? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed himself? Would you believe? Inside the trunk I found abandoned in his cabin? Sholmes, he was there. I would believe it, yes. I say, Mikotoba, I detect not a hint of surprise. I wonder why that is, Maybe because I was there at the scene as well, Sholmes? What? You were? Then why the deuce didn't you say so before? Back to his dumbass self. Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. It's hard not to feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Professor Mikotoba. Finally back from the Bailey. And not a moment too soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Miss Susato awaits. I must say, I haven't seen Susato looking so happy in a very long time.
Ah, Runo, there you are. The dinner's on the table, everyone. Please come and take a seat.
Time to fill me boots. Is that a saying? You put food in your shoes? No. Don't do that.
Goodness, is that really true, Gina?
Yep. I'm losing me copper's cobbler and going back to what I know best. It's a diver's life for me.
You're really leaving the police force? But why, Ginny?
Well, the boss ain't around no more, so...
Oh.
And anyway, no matter how hard I try, that Reaper ain't ever gonna accept the diver-turned-dick, is he?
Well, people can change, you know. Like, half the cast had character arcs in that last trial. It was quite a thing to witness.
Yes, that reminds me. I rather thoughtfully offered to relieve the bailiff of his now defunct piece of evidence.
Yeah?
It's the inspector's pocket watch, and the crown has been reattached. That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievements at Scotland Yard. For 10 years without fail, it measured every second of the man's remarkable career.
But now, it stopped.
Someone needs to keep the memory of Inspector Gregson's career alive. By taking on the great responsibility of winding that watch every single day again. Yeah, his remarkable career, where he was fucking puppeted by a fucking asshole. But sure. I still don't like Gregson, I'm sorry, I don't.
Yes, someone with an equally fierce detective spirit.
It's gotta be me, there ain't no one else.
Quite right.
I mean, after all, the boss was... well, he was my boss.
Yes, Ginny, yes he was.
Oh, yeah. And I made you a promise and all, didn't I, Iris? That I'd become a proper detective one day and track down your old man. Oh, awkward conversation alert. All right then, it's decided. I'll do it. And I swear, I'll find your dad and bring him in kicking and screaming. I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well...
I think I'd like you to forget that promise, Ginny.
Yeah? Iris?
Well, obviously I've always wondered about who my real daddy is. Of course I have. I wanted to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've caused such a lot of trouble trying to find out for so many people. Hurley, Runo, Professor Mickey...
Oh, no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe no apology to anyone.
Well, anyway, I've decided to give up on it, because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name is or where he's from. Don't you agree? Hallie?
Oh! 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 My heart! Oh! With every word, Iris. Oh! You're so cute!
Thank you, Hallie. Thank you, Dad.
Oh! So cute! Oh no! Baby! so fucking cute! Oh!
I think, Mikotoba... yes, Sholmes? I think I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh? For 6 years, you and I solved many a mystery together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for all good services. But a moment ago, I heard the most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. And I should never have experienced it, were it not for you.
Oh!
You old softy, Sholmes. Doesn't have an accent, but it felt like it needed it. But I must confess, it's a weight off my mind to hear you say it.
Well then, I think this calls for a lengthy violin recital, wouldn't you say? I do. I have had that button on the Stream Deck for so long. Yeah, we're gonna listen to the whole thing. Okay, that's enough of that.
Oh, well, the food would go cold, that's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley. Are you sure a week is long enough, Iris?
Oh, buddy boy. This is the best! This is the best shit! Oh, here it comes! Once more for the road. Okay, the one for the channel points alert's only a few seconds. Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even reeling from the most shocking of revelations, returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there's always warmth and happiness to be had. Yeah, there is. The home of the world's greatest detective, and my home too, with my greatest family. Ace Attorney said the F word! Family! This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experience whilst I've lived here. But I think now, the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell. Naruhodo. Oh, Professor! Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Suzado's room. Yes, Suzato-san went out for dinner. Went out after dinner. She took a carriage. Something about an important matter she needed to take care of. Ah, I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh? With Iris, I mean, when the subject of her father came up. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. I made up my mind many years ago never to tell her who her real father was. It's what was agreed with the Genshin, after all. Lord Clint Van Zeeks' final wishes before he died, you mean? Yes, I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Suzato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. Oh, that's why? When I read Soseki-san's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. You'd stumbled across the crux of that terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me in no doubt. Baskerville. If you decided to investigate that insignia, sooner or later you'd have made the connection to the Van Zeeks. And to make matters worse, Suzato knew of the unpublished story as well. The story that Iris had written based on my notes from the time. Ah, yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of a huge beast of a dog being used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. I I feel like if you're gonna use a dog for murder, you should take off the collar that has your family crest on it. That's kind of wild, Clint, that you wouldn't have done that. That seems like a bad idea to leave that there, but who am I to judge? Well, armed with those 2 clues, I feared you and Susanoo might arrive at the truth. So I invented that story about having collapsed to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in aid of halting any investigations you and she might have been contemplating. I see. Something I've never understood is why Susanoo-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Iris's Hound of the Baskervilles story, I mean. Sholmes sent it to me. That was before Susanoo left Japan. He was very troubled about what should be done about it, you see. I'd read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susanoo came across it, of course. Ah. It was the only case Sholmes and I ever pursued that I didn't record in meticulous detail. I was stunned when I discovered the young Iris had pieced together so much of it from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we couldn't allow the story's publication. At that point, I returned the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping. Yeah, I could buy that he wanted to be caught, but it's still just like, interesting. So you did all that to stop Iris from finding out the truth about her father? That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say my opinion has somewhat shifted. Oh? I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Iris to know the truth. And when it does, well, I believe it will be for the best. I think so too. Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk to you about something too. Judging from that expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? Yes, I have. I will be returning with you to Japan. Oh no! Are you quite sure? I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma. But he's here in Britain now, as originally intended. Locum student Naruhodo doesn't really have a right to stay, I think. I see. Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February, my becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susanoo-san, and Mr. Sholmes all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was so sure that I could see the trial through. And at the end of it, I finally realized. No one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself. The path of a defense lawyer, eh? Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I'll be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life. Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution there. I have. Very well then. I must say, it's extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll depart for a few days. And not with the symposium having been cancelled now. Such a shame. And never mind. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities in the future. Well then, I'll bid you a good night. Like, I'm happy for him, but it's still fucking sad. Oh. Hi, Susato.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm back.
Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing?
I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help but...
Oh, how much did you hear?
Well... from the part about Iris's real father, I think.
In other words, from the beginning.
So you've made up your mind? You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer?
Yes. I'm sorry. I really should have consulted you about it. I did want to earlier this evening, actually, but you'd already gone out.
Oh, no, that's quite all right. I already knew that it's what you'd decide, Naruhodo-san.
You did?
Oh.
Susato-san?
Yes?
I suppose this means it has to be a farewell soon.
I suppose.
You'll be a great help to Kazuma going forward. I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. He'll certainly benefit greatly having a brilliant judicial assistant at his side.
I'll do my very best.
I wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, she was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Kazuma's assistant.
It's growing late. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum should be ashamed of themselves.
Susato-san. Thank you.
Baby.
I can't believe this day's finally come.
You're really leaving then, Runo?
I'm afraid so, Iris. Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea.
Oh, I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say that you will.
Of course. I promise. Aww. Well, it was a very brief reunion, but it was a pleasure to pursue a case with you again after so long. Dads! For a while, at least, it felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it. Having a little fun once in a while.
I'll just go and say goodbye to the professor as well, I think.
Alright, Iris, you do that. Me too, Boat.
Susato-san.
Oh, voice acting.
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Yeah?
Ryunosuke.
Buddy! Buddy boy!
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
Were you just gonna leave the country without telling your fucking boyfriend? What?
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Tell him.
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long,
Oh, is there an echo? Here, this might fix it.
I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
No, it's the fucking sword of boyfriendship.
Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me, the demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector. But it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days. While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always.
Buddy boys.
Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on. I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
No, you wouldn't, baby girl! Come with me!
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
Gay.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Or when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba?
Baby girl.
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked.
Aww.
but I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
This is so cute.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting.
Oh.
So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
You're an angel.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me. Ah!
What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
She knew he'd say yes. Oh, Cody Gooley, thank you for the bits into the jar.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
This is too cute. Me too, Boat. Me too.
Bruno, your ship's about to leave.
Iris!
Time to go then. Look after yourself, Ryunosuke.
Better come visit.
Draw your sword.
Cutscene? My boys, look at them. Yes! Boys!
One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
Look at my fucking boys. You're gonna miss your boat, Ryunosuke.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
And you better come fucking visit.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country.
Yeah, field trip.
What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes, would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, that sounds wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
I love this fucking family so much. I love them.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
Oh. This is so...
with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes' face was alight with joy.
The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection!
Yeah!
Until we meet again, Bruno.
We did it! Oh my god, that was perfect. Oh. Oh my god, amazing. I fucking love Ace Attorney so much, you guys. Oh my god. Yes, epilogue, thank you. I'd been thoroughly inundated with inquiries about my remote cinematograph since that day. But I'm no purveyor of electrical goods, and what of the promised close court secrecy? Anyway, I've decided an absence from London is in order, a sojourn to distant climes. In the Empire of Japan, perhaps? I understand that the wardrobe class incurs no charge whatsoever. Oh boy, Sholmes.
I gave a little note to Hurley the other day. It just said, "Thank you for everything, Daddy," but it made Hurley cry. And I gave him some lotion I'd invented as well, to dye his hair red safely. But he said that might make him cry too, so he'd rather not use it.
Sholmes, dumbass. In those days, when I was known as the Reaper, I felt your presence at my side. Once, unable to bear the burden of that grim pseudonym, I even retired from the courtroom.
Oh, is that why?
Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge with pride. I knew it! I knew it was his brother's badge! But the darkness that once beset me is no more, as you too are no more. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I must ride forward, toward a brighter future. Oh. I'm happy for you, buddy boy. I knew that was his brother's prosecutor's badge, though. Like, I fucking knew it. I was waiting for them to confirm it.
The boss left a note for me, you know, and I can read it every letter now. A to Z, the whole lot. It's cleared a load of stuff up. The boss was trying to protect me, see? And that's exactly what me and Chief Inspector Toby are gonna keep doing for Londoners.
You know. I only wish I could have said how grateful I was before he, you know. Oh. Gina. Gina, you should come to London, or you should come to Japan too. Gina, the truth is I'm not the upstanding fella you think I am. You might be a diver at heart, but it's a good heart. You've reminded me I need to be true to myself. I've got one more job to take care of before it's ta-ta to London town for the foreseeable future. And then, I've got to complete the education in the art of deduction a la Gregson, as they say. Look at that fucking DreamWorks face he's got. Your Excellency, this man is accused of illegal entry into the office of the Minister... Objection! Oblique overstatement overruled! The minister has been detained in Britain anyway! Who is this cattish counsel for the defense, and women are forbidden to enter the courtroom? Oh, really? My friend Susato-san is in the British courtroom all the time, and doing a wonderful job! Perhaps I should have engaged the Baskervilles of a regular legal team. Fucking nerds! Squad up, Japan team! Amazing.
Mama, is it true about Japanese people? Are they experts at filleting corpses?
Yes, they are. Fish corpses on the whole.
I'd like to hone my own filleting skills. You don't mind, do you, Mama?
Yes, I do. I'm not a corpse yet, am I?
No. And I'm glad.
Fucking weirdos. The 3 kittens are very important to the defense. They are. Oh, what's up, buddy? Here I am again in Great Britain on the invitation of my dear old university friend. He sent me a very nice letter saying he'd like to show me around now that everything was settled. But what have I done? I was so excited I picked this splendid hotel and now I can't afford the bill. Oh, Barrack, come to my rescue again, please. I wish I could just vanish into thin air sometimes. Bud. Shack up with Von Zeeks. I'm sure he's got a bed. He's got a nice couch. At the very least.
When I went to make the waxwork impression of the killer in the cemetery, I realized what had happened. But even in the witness stand of the highest court in the land, I could never speak of it. The Lord Chief Justice and I had struck a bargain, you see. For a faithful reproduction of the visage, there is nothing Rita Spells would not do.
I was wondering about her. Like, did she know? I guess she did. And she just kept quiet. It's fine. Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passersby, you know.
Hehe, everyone calls me Pepino, and I sell the spaghetti. It's more red than my head.
Everyone, they call me... No, I cannot do it. This is ridiculous.
Oh, Daly, how charming. You've made lots of new friends here, I see.
Yes, and when we're released, we're all going to strike it rich together. Another group of weirdos. Just doing their thing, I guess. When I was accepted on the foreign study tour, I knew exactly what path I had to take. And however it might have ended, I knew that I wanted you there to see it. If I'd ended up in the dock, there's no one I would have rather had defending me. But now, thanks to you, there's a new path I want to take. I'm sure we'll meet again in the courtroom, my friend. Until then, I'll leave Kaduma in your care. Buddy boy. Oh, this music is nice.
I've made some tea, Naruhodo-san. It's important that you rest while you can. Once we arrive in Japan, you shall be busy establishing your new office. I'm so delighted to be accompanying you. After all, your talents have been recognized by a great detective. Because you really are the greatest of lawyers. A great ace attorney, some might say.
Title drop! Oh, this is so perfect. Just the neatest little bow on the top of everything. Yay! Oh, they filled in the other eye of the Dodoma. Oh! Babies! Babies! Oh, look at them! Oh, my nerds. Look at them all. Oh. My heart. My God, what a good game. When's the third one? Hey, Capcom, I would like some more, please. Hey, Capcom. Oh, hi, Ryutaro. What's up, my hot cousin? Cuties. the kittens! Oh, the kittens! Oh, and now we're just gonna take a little walk. This is fucking adorable. I love every part of this. Oh. God. What a great fucking game. The constant twists just woven together so fucking perfectly. God damn. Incredible. Impact. Like, I'm not very, like, y'all know, I'm not very good at, like, articulating my feelings on this aside from just being like, wow, excellent. But, like, god damn, this was a fucking adventure. The Shakespeare dance! Look at him go! Bye, motherfucker! Oh, and there's another dancing friend. Look at him pose. Strike a pose! Vogue! Oh, what's up, you robot fuck? Do your little dance, I guess. I am not a robot. I just sound like one. You can't prove anything. Yeah, this didn't sell well in Japan. How? What the fuck? It's so good! Look at these fucking nerds. Hanging out. Just vibing. And these punks too, I guess. No, I would totally play a Susato game. So my big wish right now is, since this game apparently sold very well, I would love for a Switch release of 4, 5, and 6, like Ace Attorney 4, 5, and 6. So that's Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirit of Justice, because I never played Spirit of Justice, and I would like to. And also, so there's a spin-off series of games following the prosecutor from the original Ace Attorney. Yeah! Look at my guys go! Fuck yeah, dudes, work it! Yeah, that's a dance of deduction. Fuck yeah, look at him go! What's up, motherfucker? You gonna dance too? I guess that's passable. What's up, Strongheart? Catch on fire! Any second now. But no, yeah. So there is a spin-off series called Ace Attorney Investigations. There's 2 games, but only the first one ever got localized. Hi, Kazuma. Yeah, boys. Crossing swords. Look at my gentlemen. Fuck yeah. But yeah, like, there have been a couple Ace Attorney games that were never localized. Hey, Capcom! Hey, Capcom! Hey, Capcom! Hey, Capcom! Ace Attorney Investigations 2, please. Ace Attorney Investigations 1 and 2, Switch double pack. Huh? Please? Please? The Edgeworth games were so much fun, but I never got to play the second one because I didn't do it in English. Oh, look at my kids. Back in the courtroom. Oh. Look at them go. I'm so proud of them! Guess what, babies? Those are my kids! I'm adopting all of them. My children, my babies, I love them. Oh my god, what a fucking game. Oh, my sons! Oh, I love that. I want to screen cap that. I want to make that my desktop on my computer. It's so pretty. My boys, they're zooming. My zoomer sons. Oh my god. Wow. Motherfucking Ace Attorney, y'all. We did it. Holy shit. And we finished before Anime Week in Atlanta! Fuck yeah! I'm excited. Like, I don't know what to do with myself now. I feel like I'm gonna go take a walk around my apartment complex for like 2 hours and just go have feelings in the darkness. Oh man. So it is time for us to wrap up. We only went like this was perfectly timed. That took us almost exactly 3 hours, which is my usual stream time. We went a little bit over by like 10 minutes, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. So, have you played all the previous Ace Attorney games before? Most of them. I haven't played Spirit of Justice. That's the only one that's been localized that I have not played. So, talking about future plans. Definitely want to go back through and play the original Ace Attorney games for you guys, because I know like a lot of y'all have requested that. The thing about the original Ace Attorney games is they're long as fuck. Like, imagine this but with a whole other game, like a trilogy. They're long, so it's probably gonna take a while. Fan art doodles, oh fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna draw so much shit in the next couple days. I'm gonna be very busy this weekend and also Monday and Tuesday packing for a con and getting all my shit together, but I got some stuff I want to draw on the plane. Oh boy. But yeah, so now that we are done with this series, I think our next series, I know we talked about doing Ghost Trick next. I need to test. I'm gonna do like a test first. This is gonna have to wait until after Anime Week in Atlanta, so this will not be until November. So give it a few weeks, because I need some time to prep for it. Next game we play all the way through will probably be Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is made by the same producer as Ace Attorney. It is, as I remember, full of feelings, amazing art style, just all this great shit. But I don't remember most of it. Because I played it so long ago, and I think I've only played all the way through it once. It will be kind of like what we were doing with The World Ends With You, where it's like kind of a blind playthrough, but not really. I don't know why the alert didn't go off, but Fatriza13, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream squad. It'll probably go off eventually. But yeah, but that game is a lot shorter than Ace Attorney. So we'll probably do that one first. Give me a break from the Ace Attorneys. And then I'm thinking we can come back and play through original Ace Attorney. I definitely need to go back to doing art streams though, because I miss doing those, and we've done Ace Attorney straight through for like the last 3 weeks, I think. So I think we're gonna go down to like 1 or 2 game streams per week, and I still need to have an art stream in there so I can like work on my comic and stuff, because I've been falling behind a little bit. But yeah, so that's the plan. I will keep you guys abreast of all the details as things progress. Like I said, I gotta make sure that I can stream from my iPad so that I can actually stream Ghost Trick. I should be able to. Play the Ace Attorney Investigations 2 fan translation. I kind of want to wait and see if they localize it officially now that this game is out and did so well. I wouldn't put it past them to consider it. And then I can play it on stream blind and not knowing shit. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated. I'm gonna do my shilling, because I've got buttons on my stream deck for that. If you guys are new-ish here and you want to stay abreast of the details, you can join my Discord. I have, like it says in the chat, it's mostly for my webcomic, but you can read that too. But I do have a collection of streaming-related channels. We've got an Ace Attorney channel, which I'm sure is now full of stuff that you guys have been posting. And I also have just like a general stream discussion channels and like game recommendations and stuff like that. So if you guys have anything you want me to play in the future, definitely. If you are new here and you want to go look at past streams, I have them all archived on my YouTube channel. And I, as of like yesterday, am now officially a YouTube partner because I finally made the, like all the thresholds for YouTube partner. You have to get like a certain number of subscribers, and then you also have to have a certain number of view hours. It's like 4,000 view hours in the last 6 months, and I finally hit that because of all you guys going back and watching the VODs, so thank you. I can now earn money on YouTube from like ad revenue and stuff. So thank you guys for giving me another small source of income that I can use to purchase sandwiches with. Also, I've been talking too long. You can follow me on Twitter for more stream updates if you don't have a Discord, if you just want to see all the dumb Ace Attorney doodles I will be doing in the coming days. I have some Ace Attorney stuff on my store, and I will definitely be making more in the future, because, yeah, I gotta make a Gina sticker. I'm gonna do alternate outfits on the backside of the charms for all the characters, because holy shit, I need to draw Kazuma in that outfit. Hot boy! Oh my god! But yeah, I think we're gonna call it for the night, guys. Let's raid somebody. Who are we taking this energy to? Let's see. We're gonna go fucking raid Bia, because Bia's drawing some cute shit. Fuck yeah. Okay, so everybody, we're gonna go raid Bia, who is drawing. So remember, when you guys get over there, you're all gonna yell, Star Raid! And then you're gonna say something nice about what Bia's drawing. Because it's cute, I can see it. I'll leave it a surprise for you guys. But it's cute. Okay, well I finished my shilling. I will see you guys next. I'm not gonna stream next week because I'm gonna be neck deep in con prep. So like pretty much all of next week I will not be streaming. I will post in the Discord when my next stream is happening. So be on the lookout for that. But next week, the week of Halloween, I will be gone pretty much all week. So no streams next week. But I will be like posting clips and stuff on Twitter and all that jazz. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. We finished Ace Attorney! Let's fucking go! I'm so happy we finished this game. Okay, my stream timer's running out. I gotta go. I will see you guys later. I'll go hang out in the Discord. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye!